Graduate Professional Council President Roland Hancock.
Let me relieve you of any doubts you may have that SB 1474 promotes your welfare and safety. First, let's consider the mass shooting scenario. Supporters of the bill have argued that universities are essentially an open shooting range of helpless victims. The implication is that someone planning a killing spree could take advantage of that and target a university campus instead of an environment where people could be carrying weapons. The majority of mass shootings have been perpetrated by mentally ill, disgruntled students and employees in their school or workplace and culminate in that individual committing or attempting suicide. The stark reality is that someone planning to lethally target the university is going to be successful, guns or no guns. The only uncertainty is how many more bodies wannabe heroes will add if SB 1474 passes. These potential shooters aren't going to be stopped by weapons-free signs or a potential CCW holder. Our only real defense from a deranged would-be shooter is the planning phase. This person has to plan their murder. They can't just freely carry a gun every day and do it on the spur of a heated moment. Students in their early 20s endure a lot of stress, frustration, depression, and it's a prime time when serious mental disorders can start appearing. Does it really make sense to add lethal weapons to this environment, knowing that some, a minority perhaps, but some, students should not have these weapons? People talk about concealed weapons as though they're invisible. They're not. Unless the bearer takes considerable care, which is difficult in Arizona's climate, there's going to be a bulge or an open bag and a glint of steel. Right now, someone who sees that, a police officer, student, or faculty, can take preemptive action. Under SB 1474, we would have to assume that that lethal weapon is on campus for the right reasons, if there are any. Secondly, let's consider the self-defense argument. Supporters of the bill say there's no boundary between the campus and the rest of Tucson, but there is. It defines the UAPD jurisdiction and one of the lowest crime areas in the city. There were 5 reported violent crimes on campus in 2010, and it's unlikely that any of those would have been prevented by allowing carrying on campus. We've heard anecdotes about someone walking home from campus and being threatened. But again, we have to imagine what would have happened if the victim had been armed. There's really no convincing evidence that these situations would resolve for better or for worse for an armed victim. This bill has nothing to do with safety on campus. The NRA, an organization with a $300 million budget, that's more than the U of A gets from the state, is turning this and a dozen other states into battlegrounds for their ideals in an election year political game. We all have a right to bear arms, but like all rights, reasonable limitations can be placed on that right in the interests of the general good. Senate Bill 1474 would strip the rights of the majority of students, staff, and faculty to say no guns on our campus. They have no place here. Finally, I'd like to remind everyone who came today that the right to bear arms is not under attack. Unlike the right to an education that is as nearly free as possible, or the basic human right to adequate health care. Last year, 5 people lost their lives because community colleges can no longer afford to treat students as individuals, and there's no health care system to provide help to those who truly need it. Yet almost anyone can buy virtually any firearm. There are many serious problems facing Arizona, but the current campus weapon ban is not one of them.